Guys, guess what we're doing today? Yep, we're building a boat. Not just any boat, yo. No, it is going to be a survival boat. Yeah, so we have to have plans. Yes, because we need to survive, which means we need plans. Anyways, you may have noticed from the title that it is called the Ghetto Christmas Survival Boat. That's right. It was supposed to be done by Christmas. Christmas 2024. But, guess what, guys? Life happens. It just does. It happens. And, so here we are. And we're just gonna keep swimming. Just gonna keep swimming. Yep. So a good portion of this was actually already done. It's been done for months. But then I got kind of hung up. I got hung up because I made a mistake. And my mistake was underestimating the size of the base and how much resin I would need to make it look right, guys. Very, very big mistake. And very costly. We'll just put it that way. But anyways, we're just going to move on because we're going to keep pushing forward. And we're making a ghetto Christmas survival boat, and it makes my heart happy, okay? So I know it's like May, but I'm really hoping that people like Christmas. So we started by building our floaty first floor, the floaty bit that we put all the other floaty bits on. Now we're going to create the floaty bits. Guys, when I envisioned a survival boat, all I could think about were the barrels. The barrels. I was hyper-focused on making barrels. So that was actually the first thing I did. I didn't even build the boat. I don't even think I made plans at this point. I just wanted to make really cool barrels. So that's what we're doing. Out of polystyrene foam, of course, because it's my favorite. And then some blue painter's tape. Yep. Doesn't have to be blue, but we're adding some very critical details to our barrels. They're called barrel ridges. I don't know if that's what they're called, but that's what I'm calling them. Okay, barrel ridges, and they will. It'll all make more sense later. But look how nice they turned out. Look at all, and there's actually more than what you see there. But anyways, now we gotta protect our barrels. Because I'm going to be, sticking them. They're the floaty bits that are going to be in the resin. And resin will eat polystyrene foam. So this was my plan. This is my idea. We're going to do some barrel dipping. All right? Very thin consistency of plaster of Paris. Add some paint. Shove a toothpick in your barrel and dip away. All right? That's what we did. We did some good old-fashioned barrel dipping. They look like cake pops. Trust me, they are not edible. So once they've dried, we got these little gray blobs. You got to sand the little bottom, because that's where the drippy drip bits were. So sand them up. Yep, looks great. Now it's time to paint. We did a few different colors because I wanted it to be colorful. We did some orange. Yeah, I don't know why I wanted it to be colorful because they're under the boat. You pretty much don't see them, but whatever. We did some blue, we did some green, we did some light green, we did some dark green, we did a little bit of everything, and then we did the most important thing, which is rust on everything. Guys, I love rust. You know I love rust. So I rusted everything. And we added some lighter color rust because the layers of rust is really what looks cool, right? Now we're being impatient, and that's fine. And now we're dry brushing. Now, at the end of it all, throwing some dry brushing on there, and I think it's just like a light gray, just really brings it all together. And guess what? It makes those barrel ridges pop. See? See them barrel ridges? They're popping. Yep. Now it's time to move on. We're going to build I think it's called cabin, right? If it's on a boat, it's a cabin. I don't really know. Okay? Probably should have Googled that first before I, open my mouth. But we're gonna build the house-a-majigger, okay? For our survival Christmas. Dang it, I forgot Ghetto. but you know what I mean. Okay. We're building the cabin, whatever. It doesn't matter how many times I say it. It still sounds dumb. So just watch. Yep. We're just using balsa wood. We're using balsa wood and corrugated cardboard, everybody. And I thought I was smart by doing it that way. You know, I already have the cardboard. Just throw some stickies on there and rip some of the stuff back. And you know what? It was smart. The only problem with being smart like that is your walls are a little thin. And you have to be really specific about where you put wood and where you rip the paper back and all that jazz. But whatever. We're moving on. We're painting things now. Yep. And you can see where that bad glue came back to haunt me right there. Bad glue. I got messy with my glue. So then you gotta go back and you gotta scratchy it really good to kind of try and get it to lift off. And it worked. It's fine. I mean, it's the base. Now we get to glue on our barrels. This is exciting. We're gluing them on. We're just using some hot glue. Just trying to make it. Yep, and that's the last time you'll ever see any of those barrels. That was it. All that hyper focus for that. It's okay, though. It's okay. Now we're going to paint all of our woody bits brown. Yep. All of our woody bits brown because we made all 4 walls of our cabin. And now we're going to use some Mod Podge to sturdy up that corrugated cardboard. It just kind of like makes it more structurally sound and it's easier to paint if you seal it first. Otherwise, you're going to do several layers and it's all going to soak in. And you don't want it to soak in on the cardboard because then it looks bad, okay? So here we are. We're making templates for our windows because that metal stuff is super shiny and really sharp, and I couldn't draw on it, so I had to make templates so I could cut them out. And they still did not turn out perfect, but it doesn't matter because it's the end of the world. Okay, now we're going to paint our corrugated cardboard like it's some, like sheet metal. We're going to just do some colors. My favorite colors. Whatever color I want, okay? Because it's my build and I do what I want. And then we're going to add a lot of rust later too. But you already knew that because that's what I do. But yeah, see, I'm showing you how I mix my colors. I just do it right there. I just slap it on and I just mix it on and be like, okay, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of, yeah, looks great. Loving it. That's what we do. Yep. I really wanted it to be colorful, but then later I mostly cover the color up, just like the barrels. But you know what? It doesn't matter because it makes my heart happy to do it. And that's why we do it. That's why we do it. Now we're going to add, all the other different colors. What do you call this? Patina? We're going to patina our cardboard. And rust it. Patina rust. Is it patina? I'm dying, guys. I should have Googled this stuff before I brought it up. Nah, I feel silly. It's okay. It's patinaed. It is what it is. Look at that piece right there. No, not that one. The other one. The little one. Look how colorful it looks. I love it. Now we're adding just a thin layer of a light blue-gray over the top. Because it just pulls, like the barrels. It pulls everything together. It kind of mutes some of the real distracting colors. And just kind of makes it look like it's old sheet metal. Yeah. And then we're going to pop our windows in. And then we're ready to glue this cabin together. Moving right along. I'm pretty sure I threw some dry brushing on the wood too. But I don't think I showed you that part. I don't know why. But so you can see here, like the walls are just a thin cardboard. So it's not like technically perfectly square. It's wiggly and wobbly. I do add like a layer of bracing on the bottom, which I don't show you because this video is entirely too long. So I did add like a layer of bracing around the bottom to kind of make it a little sturdier. Plus, I needed to give it a lift. It had to be because it was too. I'm making bunk beds later, so I shouldn't have told you that. It was supposed to be a surprise, but now you know. Okay, so now we're gonna make a fridge, y'all. All right. And I this is another thing that I was really hyper focused on because it's a fridge from the video game. You know what one? Some of you know. Some of you know. It's Fallout. Fallout, which is a survival video game that I've never actually played, but I've watched lots of other people play. And this fridge is like it's I don't know. It's just, it's special for some reason. I don't know why. And it's really cool looking and I'm making it. Okay, that's it. I'm also going to make the oven. Yeah. Because I decided if I'm going to have a cabin in a ghetto Christmas survival boat, then it needed to have a Fallout fridge and it needed to have a Fallout oven. So I'm carving it out of polystyrene foam. And it took some time, but it was super fun, guys. Like seriously, polystyrene foam is so fun to carve with. And and you can sand it to smooth it. I don't know, guys. I mean, I like working with wood, but when I have to make something that's a little bit more complicated, this is polystyrene foam, 100%. Yeah. So yeah, we just kind of looked at a picture, mapped it out, cut all the bits and pieces. There, it looks great. Wait till you paint it. Wait till I paint it because I'm going to paint it. Now we're going to make the oven. Yeah, I should have showed you guys some pictures because some of you are familiar with the games. And so you probably know, you're like, oh yeah, I know exactly what that is. But for those of you that don't really do video games, which totally fine, I should have posted. You know what? I'm gonna pop up some pictures right now. If I remember. I hope I remembered to do it. Otherwise, I sound like an idiot. But here we are. We're drawing it out. We're drawing it out and getting an idea of where we're going to do this and that. And I spent entirely too much time detailing all of the internal structures of our cabin in our ghetto Christmas survival boat because you really don't see much of them later. Once I put the roof on, then you can kind of peek at it through the windows, but that's about it. Yeah. So yeah, we're using garbage, and we made handles out of them, and we made the burners. We made those. Yep. And now we're gonna glue those little things of garbage. What are they called? They're like the little. Failing. Yep. They're the Legos come in them. Bought my son a bunch of Legos and they were all attached. You have to spinny the Legos out and break them off. And then I got so I have a lot of it because my son likes Legos. Oh, I also made a couch, which I didn't show you because it was boring. So now I'm showing you the plans. And I pointed to the table like I made the table because I actually did make the table. But then I decided not to use it. Now we're making bunk beds. Yep, which were really, really hard to do. Well, I mean, not really. I mean, yes and no. Yep. So I decided, you saw my little dude, right? You know, the guy that was laying on the bed? Yeah. I got him from Amazon. I did not 3D print it. I don't have a 3D printer. But Amazon does. So there's that. And so I bought a package of people, right? You're going to see them later because I decided I can't have a ghetto Christmas survival boat without people because people are what make ghetto Christmas survival boats work. All right. So I got these people and I will paint them all up later. But I decided, they have to have a place to sleep. So I've got what do I got? I've got 4 adults and 1 kid. Oh, and there's a dog. But they all have to have a place to sleep. If I'm going to make a boat where they're surviving, then they need to have all the surviving things. Okay. So a place to sleep. They're going to need to have food, way to cook the food, hence the stove, and the refrigerator. But of course they're going to have power. They can't just have a fridge and a stove working out in the middle of nowhere. So, and lights, because there's going to be lights. So, I do build solar panels later. And then there's a battery. What else do I make? Oh yeah, so food. Oh, and then we do a thing for water because we got to catch the water somehow, right? Because I don't know if it's the ocean. If it's the ocean, you can't drink the water, you know. And well, you really shouldn't drink the water on a lake either, or a river. Just don't drink the water, you know. So we're gonna collect it from the sky. That's what the plan is. What else? So yeah, place to sleep, food, water, protection, communication. All of those things are important on a ghetto Christmas survival boat, okay? They just are. All right, sorry, I went down a rabbit hole. Where are we? We're making stairs. The old-fashioned way, piece by piece. I don't really know if that's... Anyways, look, they turned out great. All right, so now we're sealing our polystyrene foam with some Mod Podge. It's always a good idea to seal your foam before you paint it. Otherwise, you will be doing multiple layers of paint versus just a couple, you know. I mean, I do multiple layers anyways, but just trust me, seal it, okay? Just makes it better, okay? Now, yep, we're painting our bunk beds. Yeah, we're doing some mattressy colors, whatever they are, and then like a black to make it look like metal framing. Yeah, I did that. And we're going to paint our stove. Again, really hope I showed you those pictures. Hope so. Yeah, we're going to just start with like a dark gray on our fridge, and we're going to come back and we're going to have a little fun with it. And then we're going to do some 60s green on our couch. Yeah, because colorful, right? Add some paint to our details. Yeah, could do a little detail painting. And we're gonna come back and we're gonna go over our fridge with a light gray. I kind of basically paint all of my metal bits the same. So we do the dark gray, the light gray, and then we come back with our color. And we're just kind of dabbing it, dab, and trying to make sure you don't want to over dab. You want to leave some of the dark and the light to kind of come through. And then here again, I'm doing a little dry brushing with some light gray, and then we're gonna dab with different stuff, colors, dark colors, and some rust. We gotta have some rust. Yep, looks great. Okay, here's the it's called Nuka Cola. Yeah, that's the Fallout fridge. That's what they say, Nuka Cola. Everything's Nuka in Fallout. And I did add a little resin here to kind of make it look like, you know, the shiny thing. But the resin, it did kind of eat the foam a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I sealed it with Mod Podge, but it wasn't enough. This is, again, why I use plaster of Paris to seal my foam before I ever put resin anywhere near it. But luckily, it's inside, and you're not going to really see it. Oh, you missed it. No, I did, actually. I made sleeping bags. And I'm making that propane tank. That's a Fallout propane tank as well. We're going to use this to, we're going to run the stove with propane. Yes. Yep. That's what we're doing. Kind of looks like the picture. Now we're going to paint our stairs, make them metal looking. Come back and later add, you know, a bunch of rust, because that's what we do. We're going to paint our second floor too. This time I'm just using a watered down acrylic, because I used hot glue to glue that stuff down. Oh, it's the bits box time. Okay. I need internal lighting. I'm not going to make a lantern because it's too hard. So I just used little bits and pieces of crap that I've found that was interesting crap, and I glued them together to make interesting light fixtures. This one is going to be like a lamp, an interesting lamp. It doesn't matter. Like, I can be creative. And this is kind of like a lantern, but not a lantern. And yeah, we're just glue a bunch of crap together, paint it up, do some dry brushing. Somehow magically it all comes together. I would have that lamp in my house. I would. And that, we're going to add some rust to that one because it's just straight metal. And then we're going to add my favorite color, turquoise. I would own that lamp, even with the rust, the patina. It's patinaed. I would own that. I would put that in my house. Yep. Oh, see, we're going to connect our propane tank. See, that's how that's supposed to work. Yes. And then we're going to put a light on there because I didn't know where else to put the light. So we're setting it on the stove. Yeah, because that's a good place to put it. Oh, we're gonna glue our cabin down, y'all. You can see the little lift kit I gave it underneath. You know, the wood chunks. Yeah, needed to be taller because of the bunk beds. You know, otherwise you wake up in the morning and sit up and, you know, your face would collide with the roof. And I'm all about realism here, guys. So, I mean, obviously. Can't have a ghetto Christmas survival boat without realism. Look at our bunk beds with our sleeping bags. I don't know. It hurt my heart thinking that they were just going to sleep on a mattress. I know they're not real people. I know this, but it bothered me. So I made them sleeping bags with pillows. Okay? Don't judge. All right? Okay. So I realized that we needed to cut a spot for the stairs. Yep. See? Stairs. Yay. He's happy. But then I had to like move that piece to over there because yeah, it was like a whole thing. So now take a look at the inside, guys, because it's the last time you'll see it. Bye-bye, sleeping bags. Bye-bye. Oh, hello, Barrels. I've missed you. Hi. Yeah, glue that down. Flip her over. That's that. Yeah. Now we're gonna do some dry brushing on our stairs. And then we're gonna do some dabbing of the rust. And you know, I use burnt sienna, obviously. Little yellow ochre to make that lighter shade of rust, a little black in there, and then some more dry brushing over the top of that. It all comes together. Now we're adding some trim pieces to our second floor. Now, I was obviously jibber-jabbing. I was talking earlier. I was going down a rabbit hole and I was cutting apart the second floor that I originally made because it was going to be bigger, but then I didn't like it. So I had to cut a bunch off of it so that I could like it. And I like it now. So I'm sorry I did that, didn't explain. But it actually works out because all those extra pieces that I end up cutting off of it, I get to use later. And you'll see. But so right now, we're just working on some bracing to hold that second floor in place. I don't know what you call the second floor of a boat. Is it just the second floor of a boat? I don't know. Anyways, so here's those extra pieces. Yep. I'm turning it into like a platform that sits on top of the second floor. So I mean, like it's kind of like a third floor, but it's not really. It's like a platform, and it's like a lookout platform. Yeah, that's what we're going to call it. Yeah, we're going to glue that sucker down using some hot glue because I want to make sure it ain't going to move. And look at that. It's pretty much the complete build, you know? I mean, obviously without all the little details, but it's the full Monty. Anyways, so we're back to this garbage. We're back to garbage, all right? And I feel like I didn't explain said garbage very. It's the packaging, all right? I buy my son generic Lego bits, okay? Because he likes the army stuff. And this is the packaging. And it makes great fencing. So as you can see, I turned it into fencing and added some wires and some bits and blah, 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 blah. All right, that's what I did. Turned out great, okay? I love that stuff. I use it for a lot of things. Okay, so now we are gonna carve a boat motor because the boat needs to be able to go. And I didn't know how else to make it go but a boat motor. So, yeah, that's what we're doing. Carving a boat motor out of polystyrene foam. Yes, and there's not really much to say about this. I found a picture of a boat motor, and then I carved it. At the end of the day, though, guys, it was entirely too long. It was too long. So after I've completely finished it, I end up going back and cutting it down to make it shorter because I needed the bottom bit of the boat motor to dangle in the water, aka the resin, which is why I also cover it in Paris plaster of Paris. Same thing. But anyways, so I cut it down because of the whole resin fiasco, too much resin, and wanted to make it less and less expensive. And it was a whole thing, guys. So just trust me, it'll be fine. So right here, we're making propellers. And that's just that like white sheets of acrylic plastic. That little bit there, you saw the bag of mechanical pencil bits. Yeah, my kids break their pencils all the time. And then when you pull them apart, you get all the little bits. So more garbage that you can then use to make cool things like boat motor propeller things. I don't know what they're called. It doesn't matter. Doesn't. But look at it. It's coming together. All right. Look at that boat motor. I'm actually really proud of the boat motor. I'm also really proud of the fridge. But the boat motor's pretty cool. Yeah. And like I said, I end up going over it and covering at least most of it with plaster of Paris. Oh, hey, I'm going to do that now. Look, I was just talking about you, plaster of Paris. Way to join the party. Yep. So we're going to cover because, yeah, resin, foam, bad. Oh, lights. So my Ghetto Christmas lights have arrived. All right. But I will tell you, I was really disappointed because the little bulbs don't light up, but they have those little tiny LEDs on there. So what I ended up doing was going through and painting all the LEDs like different colors. And then I dirtied up my lights because I didn't like the gold. So before and after, right there. Before, after. After's much better. Looks more ghetto. Looks more apocalyptic Christmas lights. I mean, if it was the post-apocalypse, Christmas lights on Christmas would like just change everything because, you know, when you're surviving, sometimes it's the little things that just make life worth living. And Ghetto Christmas lights are the little things. Okay. So I had to figure out a way to hide my battery packs, guys. So I made a battery box to see, look at that. And it's got a removable lid. But that wasn't enough because it looked dumb. So I had to decorate said battery boxes. And I made like 3 of these. But I decorated them with the bits and pieces of wood to make them look like they were like, you know, stacks of crates or boxes. Like, you know, ingenious. I'm smart. But I left a little hidey hole on the side so you can click it on and off. Right? I made 3 of those. Yeah, you'll see later. Now this is I'm taking Bits box stuff and I created that thing and I'm gluing it to the top of a barrel which I've hollowed out because this is going to be our water catcher thingamajigger. Yep. Water catcher. So I had all these little cool bits and I was able to turn all these little cool bits into this. And I'm very proud of it. I really am. I think it's cool. And then I add these other little sticky things. So they all are going to like go up to create like this triangle thing. And then later I am going to add the tarp. I mean, because, you know, you got to have a way to collect the water. It's like a funnel system. Okay. It's a funnel system and you'll see later when I finish it. Now, earlier, I talked about being able to get food. If we're on the water, we got to go fishing. So I made some tiny fishing poles. And I just took a chunk of the garbage and I sanded it. And then I glued a wire on there. And then I took a tiny chunk of wood and I drilled a hole. It makes things so much easier if you just drill first. And then I poked that little thing in there. And look at that. It looks like a fishing pole. Well, I mean, it looks like that part of the fish. Now I got to add the pole part. That's the fishing rod. Now we got, the rod, fishing rod. Is that like the whole pole? Guys, oh my gosh, my brain. Great fishing poles. Now we need a tackle box. We're going to make a tackle box out of foam. Very simple. It's just a box. Cut it. Use your pencil to make those lines more visible. And we added a handle, and I did add little painter's tape to be like the hinges. And so now this is just Mod Podge, guys. With foam bits. We made a lot of foam bits, lots of foam. Eat cans of dog food because we have a dog and the dog needs to eat. So we Mod Podged all of our foam. Now, we're moving. Now we're going to make some garden boxes, guys. Back to the food. We got fishing. We can fish for our food, but we're also going to grow our food, right? So we're making some garden boxes. And as you saw in the plans, or maybe you didn't, I'm not sure what we're going to grow, but I had loads of different ideas, we could do like peas and potatoes, maybe some tomatoes. Yeah. Oh, and these we're making more planter boxes, but these are like the barrel planter boxes. Because we're going to make maybe we'll grow some corn. Maybe some cucumbers. I like cucumbers. Cucumbers are good. And then you can put them in jars and turn them into pickles. But then we got to grow some garlic. That's fine. We'll grow garlic. Garlic is great. Garlic is good for your immunity. It builds up immunity. Did you know that? Yep, it does. Okay, so we're just using the razor first to kind of create those straight lines, and then we're going back with the pencil and just making them more. There's a word that I want to use, but I can't remember what it is. Yeah, and we're going to add some painter's tape ridge details because our barrels also need ridges. They're the barrel ridge. Yeah, that's what we did. And then here we are. We're making a doghouse, guys. So the people I bought from Amazon, the ones that Amazon 3D printed for me, it didn't have a dog. But I went to Hobby Lobby and I found, those tube toys. And there was one tube toy set that had a dog that was the right size. And so I bought the whole set just for the dog. I've done this before. I did that once for a horse. Yep. If it's perfect, if it fits, then yep. I'll buy the whole dang thing. So I decided I wanted a dog, but the dog also had to have a place to sleep. And I didn't think he would fit on the bunk bed with the humans. So we made him a dog house because, he needs his own personal space too. Like, this is a small boat. Everybody needs, personal space. So, and we talked earlier, we need food, water, and we need communication and protection. Well, this is communication, okay? We're making a CB radio, like an old school one. I don't know if it's because they might still make CB radios like this. I call it old school because I like to call everything old school, but it's just a CB radio. And then there's the little mic, little tiny mic. Yep. Yeah. Now we're going to paint everything. We're going to paint all of our woody bits brown because wood's brown. And it's mainly just like a watered down acrylic brown. And see, there's one of our hidey hole boxes for our battery packs. Yeah. Looks pretty hidey hole, like crates. See, there's the little hole on the side where I can flip it on and off. And then we're gonna paint all of our tires gray. Yeah, the tires are gonna be floaty bits as well. And then this is just a toolbox thingy that's metal, so I'm painting that gray. There's a gas can. You gotta have gas for the motor, right? And there's our little walkie-talkie thing. And then I already covered the boat in plaster of Paris. I showed you that. Yeah, I did show you that. Okay, now we're painting it. Just start with a dark gray to start, Our barrels, now we're going to do some dry brushing on our barrels, bring out all that texture, that wood texture. And I made some other wood. Oh, that's my kid. My kid says hi. I made some other wood boxes too. And then we're gonna dry brush our tires, Yep, dry brush those. So all my metal bits, I did the same thing. I did the dark and then the light and then the color. And I just, that's what see, dark, light. And then we add color, which I'll show you. But then you go back and you do the details, and then you do another dry brushing over the top of that. I didn't show all of that to you because I ran out of time. Yeah, so look at all that. Looks pretty cool. I think it looks good just like that, but it's boring. So we're going to add color next. Yep. But first, before we add the color, we must add the rust. Yes. Because metal rusts. And that's what we're doing. I think that was our tackle box. Yeah. And we add a little rust to our boat. You try and get it around like the seam parts where the moisture would build up. I just wanted to sound smart for a minute, like I knew what I was talking about. So then we're adding some colors, and we do lots of different shades of the colors so that it looks more realistic. This one's going to be red. It's pretty much self-explanatory, guys. At this point, I'm just along for the ride. Green, I don't know what that thing is. I don't know, but and that's like one of them little oil cans. Oh, there's our water catcher. Yeah, that's the water catcher. It looks pretty good. Yeah. So I'm trying to get used to, I'm using the camera differently. So I sometimes forget where I'm supposed to be, obviously, because a lot of times, I'm like up in the corner, barely on the screen. I apologize for that. I'm still learning. I need like a giant X on my mat. But then that would be annoying too. So, we're dry brushing our planter boxes and even our fishing pole. Is that dry brushed? Oh, and the motor, we're going to paint a motor red because, the fridge turned out really good red. So I thought we'd do the motor red too. Start with dark red, add different shades of lighter red. Oh, this is the time where I'm going to show you everything we made. All right. So there's our water catcher thingamajigger. There's some tires. Oh, there's the doghouse. I painted the cardboard when you guys weren't looking. Our planter boxes, couple of planter boxes, another planter box for fruits and vegetables. There's one of our battery hidey holes. Yeah, see, ingenious. It looks cool. And there's another one. There's actually 3, but I only show you 2. There's a fishing pole. And our gas cans. Yep. We got to raid different islands to collect gas. And that, I don't know what that is. It holds stuff. And there's a bucket. And there's one of the metal. Yeah. And there's another one. And I actually made a couple more of those because I really like them. There's a table. Not for inside, but for outside. For our CB radio. And that's just a little toolbox. Yeah. And there's our tackle box. Yay. And more fishing rods. Oh, there's more, guys. We're not done yet. There's a fishing rod holder. Yeah, couldn't show you that. Ran out of time. But yeah, you just stick those. Look at that. Yeah, ingenious. Yep. Oh, there's a battery. I made that too. With wires. And there's another bucket. Oh, look, it's those solar panels. Yeah, there's one of the planter boxes I already planted. There it is in all its glory. All right, now it's time. We have a lot of details. It's time to put those details into place, but you always start with your lighting first. Must always start with lighting. See, look how well this works. Stick that thing on there, stick that, glue that, looks great. Now we just got to wire everything together. We got 2 lamps on the inside. We got to wire them to this battery pack. Look at me. I'm such a professional. I even use black tape. Just don't look too close because my soldering skills could use some improvement. And actually, I got like a new soldering tool, whatever you call it, that thing. I got a new one of those. And it honestly it's not as good as the old one that I used. I don't know why. I think they need to be broke in a little bit. But anyways, so yay, look, lights work. It may not be pretty, but it works. Look, you can kind of see inside. Like you saw the fridge. See, there's my little lid. It just kind of fits on there. Yeah. That one. Here's another one. We made, this is for the Ghetto Christmas lights. Yeah. So that goes on there. Fantastic. Glue that down into place. And then we're going to start hanging our Christmas lights. Yes. The Christmas lights. Honestly, I think they're the best part of the whole build. Yep. Well, that and the CB radio. No, the fridge. The motor. I don't know. I like a lot of different parts of this. Yeah, look. All the lights are up. Now it's time to plant our garden. And so you see I already planted some like carrots over there or something. Could be carrots. And then so we're going to add some Mod Podge and water. Yeah. And then we're going to add some real dirt. Real dirt. Just sprinkle it all on there. Yeah. And then this planter box, I don't know. This is like some fake plant I picked up from somewhere. And I don't know. It kind of looks like it could end up being corn, but not really. I don't know what it is. Okay. We're going to pretend it's going to be a vegetable. Here's some wheat. Yeah. Wheat. And then I bought these bushes off of Amazon. Maybe some strawberries. Yeah. Oh, and I made this tree. I didn't show you all of it, but it was basically me doing that. Spray, stick, spray, stick. We're going to put that in this barrel. Yeah. But it can't just, can't just be a tree. It's a fruit tree. So we got to make fruit. And we're going to use BBs because they're the right size. And I didn't have anything else. And it was really easy to do. So, yeah, and then we pull them all out and we let them, and then we get lazy and we just dump them out. Spread them around so they can dry. Yeah, once they're dry, we come back in. And we're going to glue all of our apples to the tree. Yeah, BBs just happen to be the perfect size. And I didn't have to work hard. Keep it simple, stupid. That's what my sister always says. Don't forget KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. But I much prefer making things super complicated. So it doesn't always work for me. So yeah, we got like the speaker, and I'm just kind of gluing that all wonky on top. And then I wanted it to be legit, so we're adding some wiring. Yeah, everything's got to be connected by wires. And you'll see me do that a lot, randomly here and there. And I built this table specifically for this CB radio. Like, it's a little big. But you know what? It works. And there's our battery. We got to somehow connect this to the battery, because the battery is where we're going to get our power, right? And then later we're going to connect our solar panels to the battery, because that's how the power is made. See? Smart. I could survive in post-apocalypse. Oh yeah, so people. Okay, I already painted her because I needed to do a test paint. And now we're just kind of going through. We sanded off some of the seams, and we're going to quickly go through and just paint these people. I am not a professional minifigure painter, but I do like to paint. So, yeah, we made it happen. And the little girl, she's holding a pie. All right. She's holding a pie. And pies don't really fit with the whole post-apocalypse theme thing going on. So, later we turn it into like a bowl of wheat. You'll see. Yeah. So now we've got the main colors on. We're just going to go back over. We're going to do some dry brushing to just make everything look just like a little bit more worn, And then here's our puppy dog. We painted our puppy dog too. Yeah. And it had a lot of nice texture. So really just use that. And for some reason the eyes were purple, which was weird. So we painted that. Oh, and then there's this guy. Okay. So no, I did not 3D print this gun, but it's one of the Lego guns that my son had. And he gave it to me. Yeah. He said I could use it in his build. So, that's what I did, because we need protection. So, dude, our big dude guy is going to have a rifle, because it's smart to have protection, Then maybe he needs to hunt for food on occasion. Maybe the fishing is not. Anyways, so here we are. We are adding our tarp to our water catcher thingamajigger. Okay, it's a tarp, and it's actually just a shop towel. But yeah, we cut it, trimmed it, shoved it down the center. Looks great. Now we're going to cover it in Mod Podge and water so that it will hold its shape and look more tarpy. It kind of looks tarpy. I mean, a little bit. All right, so now we need a way to get from the second level of our boat to the platform, the lookout platform. And so we made a ladder. And I glued these straws together off camera with super glue, and it was dumb. It was painful, but we made it happen. And so, okay, let me explain. That's a wire, and it's going to be like a hose. So if we're going to survive, right, we should do it in a smart way, right? We're going to be collecting water in our water majigger thingy, and I wanted like this irrigation system and the hoses, and you'll see, okay? All right. We're now going to start putting our stuff on, which is really exciting. There's our doghouse put into place. We got like a little water dish, and I did put some UV resin in there to make it look like it had water. And then we're going to place our garden down. Yes. I don't know what that is. Could be corn. Like it kind of similar looking to corn. I don't know. Just use your imagination. Okay. All right. Look, plants are down. All right. Now we're going to, motor. Add our gasoline to the back of the boat because we're going to be powering our engine. There's our fishing pole thing. And there's our solar panel. And I ended up only putting one up because I kind of ran out of room. Fishing pole going in the holder. Yep. Because we're lazy fishermen. So we just stick the poles in the holder and we just wait. We wait. Yep. And our tackle box is back there. That's some random box. I'm going to guess it's a box of dog food that we somehow managed to come up with. And then that little box, which is going to be a seat for my sitting lady later. And then here we are with the wires. We got to have a way to run power from that solar panel, and it's going to go into the battery. And I really have no idea how all of these things actually work. But if I just had a battery with a bunch of wires going in and out of it, I thought it would look legit. So here we are, our water catchy thingamajigger. It's got a hose, and I also put a nozzle on it when you weren't looking, so we can get water that way too. We're gonna put all of our metal. There's our CB radio. I mean antenna. It's an antenna for the CB radio, and yep, yeah, looks good. And that's just a decorative tire. Because why not? And we had some leftover barrels, so we just kind of stuck them in random places. Yep. And then I still don't know what that is. I don't know. It's a thing. There's another bucket. Oh, yeah, there's our barrel of apples. More little crap here and there, and then these tires, they're gonna go on the side. Now I didn't show you guys this, but I actually did plaster of Paris those tires too, because I knew they were gonna be touching the resin, and so just playing it safe, plaster of Paris those suckers so nothing bad happened to them. Yeah, and I carved them out of foam. I probably didn't show you that either. Oh look, lights work, yay! All right, this is part of our irrigation system. Okay, so we use those straws to create the coupling. Is that what it's called? I don't know. But I drilled holes in everything. So we're going to shove those, yep, just like that. You see how this is coming together? Yeah. I thought this would be smart. And a little irrigation system so the water can automatically feed your garden and you don't have to work hard. Yeah. So it just kind of comes down from the top. Man, I could totally survive in the post-apocalypse. I really could. I definitely think that I could manage. Yeah. Looks great. Yeah. Loving it. Now we're gonna go back. They just look too wiry.
So we're going to make them look, I don't know, less wiry. They're supposed to be hoses, for, yeah. It looks better. Okay, now it's time for some fencing. We're going to glue these suckers down. We're going to use them all the way around the top platform and the second floor. And I'm glad I kind of did some with chains and some without, I was trying to mix it up a little bit. And I think it turned out great. I really like them. I mean, they look very industrial. Is that I think that's the right word. Oh, and there's that lady. She's down there taking a nap. I don't know if you saw her. I test fit my people a lot. Oh, and we got to have like the fencing on the bottom floor so that nobody falls off the boat, because that would be bad, even though the water is extremely shallow, which you will see. Looks great. Oh my goodness. It's like all the details. All the details except for the people. All right. So the base. We're going to run through this real quick. And you may notice that I am sporting a broken finger. Yes, I smashed the bejesus out of it, broke the tip, and so I apologize for the ugly, dirty cast that you're going to see from time to time. Anyways, so I quickly, after all that dried, I painted it. And then once I was done with that and it dried, I went ahead and I added more dirt for the rocks. It needed to look rocky. So, yep, that's what I did. Covered it in Mod Podge and water. And then I went through all the trouble of doing this, of adding this stuff, which you're really not going to see any of it, guys. Yeah. And then I painted it again with water down. And then I dry brushed it to bring all that detail out. And then I added some greenery, some weeds, some grass and some green, some stuff. Yep. Yeah, and lots of glue. All right, now we're gonna glue on our acrylic so we can pour our hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of resin, because it's expensive. Yep, and here's our first pour. See, now I use tabletop on this. I could have done a deep pour, but I had tabletop, and like I said, I underestimated how much resin I was going to need. I made fish, and I made an eel that you will never see because the boat completely covers it. And more resin. Yeah, we're going to pour. And then we're going to, I cut that boat, the engine down because it was too long and it would have taken even more resin. So then we poured more resin and some more resin over the top of that. And finally, it came time to fit the boat. Even though the water, I mean, if you got off the boat, it probably wouldn't even come up to your waist. But whatevs. You do what you got to do. Last bit of resin. Now we're trying to pull the acrylic off, and it was awful. And because it'd been sitting on there for months, guys. I'm not joking. I started months. Don't let don't do that. Okay. Now we're gluing down our people. Because I got frustrated because I couldn't get the acrylic sheets off. So I wanted to do something that made me happy, and gluing people down makes me happy. And here's our fisherman. He's just going to stand there and watch the pole. And I had to create a fishing line. So hot glue to the rescue. And yep, looks legit. People are down. I did get the acrylic sheets off, as you can see. It was awful, and I had several cuts on my hand. Now we're doing some glossy Mod Podge. Guys, we're almost done. We are done. Glossy Mod Podge. Look at that water. And look, you can even kind of see the fish there. See, there's some fish. There's fish. And at the back of the boat, there's also fish, but you can't really see it. I mean, it's pretty. I guess if anything, it's pretty. It's pretty. And we're done. This is glamour shot time, guys. Okay, I'm just going to let you enjoy. All right, I'll be back. And that's it, guys. That's a wrap. We're finally done with our Ghetto Christmas survival boat, and it was great. I hope you guys liked it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for coming back, even when I have been completely gone for months at a time. Life just happens, and I can't make promises. I wish I could. If this was my regular day job, 100%, I'd make you promises, but it's not. It's just a side thing. I love it, and I will not give it up. I will continue to do it for as long as I possibly can. So thank you for making that, for just making it worth it. So that's, I guess, all I've got to say. So until next time, hopefully it won't be months, but it might be. We'll see you guys later. Bye.